All right, so you're thinking about moving to the Oregon coast, but you're wondering where to start? Well, in this video, we're gonna cover each step that you're gonna need to know to buy a home at the Oregon coast. Stay tuned to learn more. Hey, what's up everybody? This is Clem with the Home Team Brokers coming to you from the Oregon coast. And if you want to learn everything there is to know about what it's like to live, work, eat, sleep, play, and the pros and cons of living at the Oregon coast, make sure to hit the subscribe button and tap the little bell to get notified every time we drop a new video. We get people reaching out to us all the time who are thinking about buying a home at the Oregon coast, a vacation home, a second home, relocating here, and we love to hear from you. So if that's you, give us a call, send us a text, shoot us an email, or schedule a Zoom call in the description below of this video. However you decide to get a hold of us, we have your back when it comes to moving to the Oregon coast. All right, what's up everybody? I'm sure that ocean is pretty loud in the background. It's really roaring today, so hopefully it's not too loud and you can hear me. In this video, we're gonna talk about some of the steps that you need to take when it comes to buying an Oregon coast home and kind of, getting here, getting acclimated, and figuring out what's going to work best for you. So we're gonna cover the 5 steps of what you need to know when moving to the Oregon coast. And number 1 on the list is determine your area. There are so many options on the Oregon coast as far as bigger towns, smaller towns, everything in between, different geographical landscape, different proximity to Portland and to airports. Some areas have better shopping, some areas have better food and restaurant options. So depending on the lifestyle that you're looking for, what type of activities and hobbies you're looking for, there's a pretty big range. As you may know, the Oregon coast has 363 miles of coastline. So you have some areas on the northern Oregon coast like Astoria, Seaside, down to Manzanita, of course, Cannon Beach, down to Tillamook, Lincoln City. These are all pretty close to Portland. These are all pretty close to other towns. There's a lot of tourism, as there is on, really in really any town on the Oregon coast, but there's definitely kind of a unique vibe and culture on the northern Oregon coast. You have the central Oregon coast, which is a little bit more removed, a little bit more spread out, but still pretty close to some of the more populated areas of Oregon. Still gets a lot of tourism, but you start getting into like sand dunes, you start getting into some coastal lakes, a little bit different landscape, a little bit different feel, but some awesome towns. In particular, you have Newport and Florence, which are really kind of the anchors of that central Oregon coast region. And those are some of the best towns you can get on the Oregon coast. Down into the southern region, you get into Coos Bay, North Bend, which is the most populated area on the coast. A very unique environment, very unique town as far as kind of the culture, the atmosphere, all of that, compared to the rest of the Oregon coast. Down into Gold Beach, down into Brookings. Of course, there's Port Orford. And these towns are much smaller, these towns are much spread out, but the southern Oregon coast is known for having some of the best weather, if not the best weather in the state of Oregon. It's also known for being quite a bit more scenic. So the Oregon coast as a whole, of course, is a very scenic area. There's beautiful landscape, the coastal range, hiking, mountains, trails, and of course, all of this, the ocean, the beaches. You can get that anywhere, but the southern Oregon coast is probably the most epic landscape, as far as these big cliff sides and rock formations that are, kind of out in the ocean, just kind of, right out in front of you, big waves crashing up against it. So there's a lot to love on the southern Oregon coast. It's a little more laid back. There's probably a little bit less to do as far as kind of things, quote unquote, in town. But that all depends on where you're at. Again, North Bend, Coos Bay, that's the most populated area on the Oregon coast. So, you know, that feels like you're in a little city, definitely more so than any other town on the Oregon coast. So number one on this list is determine what area is going to fit you, fit your lifestyle. Maybe you're looking for a home that you can rent out as a vacation rental part-time, or it's an investment property and you want to rent it out year-round, maybe use it a couple times in the year. There's going to be some areas that are going to be better suited for that. Some areas, some towns are just much more vacation rental friendly, short-term rental friendly. Some areas are really clamping down on it. So it really helps to know kind of what the goal is, what your lifestyle is going to be like, what you want to get out of a property. Then you can start looking at some of these different regions and what some of these different regions have to offer. So number two on the list, once you've kind of narrowed down some different towns and different regions, different areas that make sense for you, you got to find a house, right? And just like the rest of the country, the rest of the state of Oregon, the Oregon coast has a pretty severe housing shortage. There's a lack of inventory, which creates elevated housing costs. Home prices, have been rising at historical rates. You have a ton of competition. I mean, buyers are getting killed out there, trying to make offers, putting in 5, 10, 20 offers on a home before they get into the place that they want. And, often they're having to sacrifice because they're not getting the place they want right away. Home values are going up, interest rates are rising right now. So, that reduces people's budget. There's a lot of people who are settling and kind of making some of those sacrifices. So, working with the right real estate team is going to give you a huge advantage as far as, getting into the right place right away. There's obviously a lot of circumstances as far as market conditions that are outside of our control, but there are a lot of things we can do to be competitive even beyond just the sale price, right? So working with the right team is going to help you not only first and foremost kind of narrow down what areas are going to work best for you, but then from there, find the right house, get into conversation early with the listing agent, get a feel and an understanding for what's going to make your offer most competitive, and then ultimately get an offer accepted. So that is an enormous challenge, and it's something that we don't want any surprises when you start looking at homes on the Oregon coast. You're stepping into a market that is really rough for buyers, but again, working with the right agents go a long way. So if you are thinking about taking some of the next steps, definitely get in touch with us. Give us a call. Days, nights, weekends, we're available. We're here for you. Usually the best step is to click the link just below this video in the description and schedule a Zoom call with us so we can get kind of that face-to-face. Have an introduction and really talk about what's going to suit your needs and suit your lifestyle best. And then, from there, we can start taking some of those first two steps, finding the right area, start looking at properties, see what's going to be realistic within your budget, all of that. If we can get out ahead of that, the sooner the better, and the more chance you're going to have, the better chance you're going to have at success in your home search. So, number 3 on the list is, start to get a feel, once you've narrowed down a town, maybe you have an offer accepted, you're under contract, you're moving, everything's going in the right direction, you're excited, but okay, what is it going to be like living in this town, this region of the Oregon coast? What's available to me kind of at my doorstep or, within an hour's drive? Because, depending on where you live, kind of to get to the next town, you're going to have to drive 20, 30 minutes, maybe 45 minutes to an hour. And that's not uncommon. If you live in one town, but there's a great restaurant or, an event or a club, something you're a part of in kind of the neighboring town, that's a pretty common circumstance on the Oregon coast. And depending on where you live, you're gonna be able to get a feel for kind of what's accessible and available to you right there in your town, but also again in that region and kind of in your immediate area or even a little bit further out. So start getting a feel for what life is like here. Start getting a feel for what are the things you're going to be doing in your day-to-day. I mean, are you coming here for a job? You know, what does that commute look like? You know, are you working from home? You know, what does that look like as far as what you can do day to day, and you know, what your favorite little walks are going to be, and you know, what the best beaches are going to be for you to spend your time, all of that stuff. So, you know, once you're kind of locked in, you're dialed in, you're making the move, you know, start getting acclimated to the area, because you'd probably be surprised, you know, in terms of kind of all of the things you can do, in particular outdoors, getting outside, hiking, biking, beach going, you know, you name it. And you know, there's going to be a lot of those things available to you, and you know, start getting a feel for what you want to be spending your time doing, what's going to make the most sense for you, and then you know, that'll just help you get into your routine a lot quicker once you're here, you know, once you're actually in town and settled on the Oregon coast. All right, so next on the list, we got to talk about it, the weather. Depending on where you're coming from, especially if you're coming from a drier climate, even a much colder climate, you know, the Oregon coast weather is pretty mild, but it is gray, it is rainy for a lot of the year. You know, I just so happened to, you know, catch some good weather on a day that I plan to shoot this video. So, you know, it's about 50 degrees. It's actually April 1st, April Fool's Day. I'm here on the beach in Lincoln City, just down from the Chinook Winds Casino, which is a big tourist attraction. But you know, living at the coast, living at the beach, that's going to be a lot different than if you're in a place like California, obviously. So some people are moving here from California to, you know, get a little more variety in their day-to-day as far as the weather and the climate. You know, they're escaping the heat, but you know, you can come out here, lay a blanket down, you know, catch a tan even on a day like today, but you know, it's not super warm. You know, I'm wearing my puffy coat obviously. So you know, but even beyond that, kind of the weeks and weeks of gray weather, the rain that can be constant for days and weeks at a time, and you get some downpour, but there's there's long stretches of the year where there's always just a little precipitation in the air. Some people really like that. You may come to like it, you may know what you're getting into, but it can come as a big shock to a lot of people. So, you know, it's just something to really prepare for. You know, maybe that means, you know, changing your wardrobe a little bit. You're maybe going to need to get some more sweatshirts and, you know, long pants, maybe get a couple extra raincoats, you know, kind of in your arsenal. You know, maybe get some rain boots, different boots, things like that. Obviously, spending a lot of time on the beach, you know, it's going to get sandy, so, you know, you might want some different shoes for that. But, you know, the weather, again, it's kind of a love-hate relationship. I think people love how moody the weather is at the Oregon coast. People do come here for a milder climate. Doesn't get too hot, doesn't get too cold, but just kind of know what you're getting into and understand that, especially if you're coming from like Arizona, California, it's not going to be sunshine 24/7. So that's something that you just want to make sure you're prepared for, so there's no surprises. All right, and last on this list, you're here, you moved here, you got your house. You know, you know what to expect, you know what you're getting into, you know some of the things that are kind of offered in your community and in your region on the Oregon coast. Now you got to get out and explore. You know, I think anywhere you live, you know, especially when the weather is a little wetter, a little colder at times, it can be easy to be a hermit. You know, we've all been stuck inside for a couple years stretch at one point in time, and a lot of people are working from home now. But you know, this is a place, as much as anywhere else in the world, in the country, if not more, that you know there are so much to do outside. In particular, you know, maybe that's just, you know, get in your car and drive north, south, east. Obviously, if you're going west, you better bring a surfboard or a boat, but you know, just get out and explore. You know, go try different restaurants, go try different breweries and bars and different, you know, go shopping in different towns, and you know, really kind of, you know, get a feel for all of the things that are right there at your doorstep, because there is so much. And you know, you can do all the research, you can watch these videos, you know, you can look on Google, look on a map and kind of see what you have in town and next to you. But until you actually get out and explore and start doing some of these things, you know, you've only scratched the surface, to say the least. So you know, start getting connected with the community. You know, these small towns have really close-knit, tight-knit communities where, you know, in particular, you know, the local full-time residents are really proud of these communities. You know, they work toward preserving the communities and making sure that they're safe for not only the people that live here, but for all the tourism that the Oregon coast gets. And there's people that are really passionate about their community and just, you know, keeping it as good as it can be. It probably won't be long before you're getting into conversations with people who've been here for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 50 years, you know, whatever it is, and you're gonna start to get a real inside look, you know, about, you know, kind of the pride of living in these communities and kind of what it's all about. And so get out and make friends, meet people, go shopping, do all the stuff that the Oregon coast has to offer, and, you know, you'll feel at home in no time. So hopefully that's helpful. You know, that's kind of a good checklist in terms of what to expect. I mean, again, you know, you got to know what you want in a town. You might look at photos, look at houses, look on a map, whatever, and you know, see something that you think is kind of the perfect scenario or the perfect place to be. You know, but maybe it's a town of 300 or 500 people, and there's nothing wrong with that, but it might not be what you want, or it just might not be an area that has a lot of restaurants or a ton of beach access, for example. So you know, you really got to dig into the details of what an area offers and if it's consistent with what you're looking for, and that's why you got to get in touch with us. You know, we can talk about different areas and what areas are going to make the most sense. You know, from there, it's finding the right house, you know, and it's not only digging into the physical structure of the house, if it's in good condition, if it's going to make sense as an investment, whether it's going to be a rental or if you're just looking at long-term equity gains. Either way, there's so much more than just the physical structure of the house. I mean, you know, what neighborhood it's in, how close it is to the beach, does it have a water view, an ocean view, can you walk into town? All of that stuff, you know, is really important. And, you know, what you read online might not tell the whole story, and then it's actually winning a bid, you know, putting an offer in, getting your offer accepted. And again, you got to get in touch with us. We can have a conversation about what that's going to take to give you the most success, you know, and kind of the best chance of getting the house that you love. You know, and then get acclimated. Start looking around. Start, you know, kind of thinking about, okay, what is my life going to look like in this town? What are the things that I want to do? What are the things that I want to be involved in? You know, where do I want to go? You know, am I able to do the things, you know, that I'm hoping to do, you know, in living in an area like this? So, you know, start doing your research. We're going to help you out with that as well. Prepare yourself for the weather. You know, it's unique. It's not bad. You know, again, it's very mild, but, you know, if you're used to sunshine, you know, you're gonna get some of it for sure, but it's gonna be a little brisk. You gotta bundle up a lot of the year. Now summers, you know, beautiful, high 60s, low 70s, awesome. You know, you can't beat it, but you know, the weather can be a shock, so make sure there's no surprises there. Just know what you're getting into. And then of course, once you get here, really get out and explore. You know, make a point of it to, you know, check out a couple different restaurants a week. You know, make sure, you know, you're consistently trying different hiking trails and checking out different beaches and, you know, going to different shops, going to different outlet malls, you know, all the things that you can do here. You know, get involved right away. That's going to be the best way to really kind of, you know, get off and running and, you know, make sure you start feeling at home as soon as possible. So if this was helpful, give the video a like. That really helps us. If you want to get more of these videos, hit the subscribe button, tap the little bell to get notified when we drop a new video. And if you're thinking about moving here, give us a call, send us a text, shoot us an email, or again, schedule that Zoom call. Click the link below in the description of this video and let's chat. Either way, we really appreciate you watching, and until next time, we'll talk to you later.